Hey guys, I know it's been a really long time since I came on here and posted a video, and I wanted to come on here and explain why I haven't posted a video and also to raise some awareness. Um, I, like many people in the world, suffer from depression, and when I get in my depressed moods, I get really down and I don't want to do anything. I want to melt into the couch or the bed or whatever it is, shut out everything, internalize all my feelings, and do nothing and go numb. And that is not a good way to cope with things, and I know that that is not healthy. Sorry, my dog thinks there's something underneath the porch, so she's sniffing. And I have been putting off making this video so long, and I finally told myself that that was it, that I'm making it today no matter what. So I am actually sitting outside right now on my back porch. It's raining. You can probably hear the rain. So I told my husband I am putting the kids to bed and going outside and filming this video. Do not come out there and bother me. Just let me do my thing, and I can get this filmed. And my lights are attracting like every moth in a 50-mile radius, so if you see me swatting away bugs, yeah, that's what's going on. So you might think, oh, you don't look that sad, you look really upbeat and happy right now, and so what's your problem? Well, that's just it. Once the depression, once I start coming out of it, I feel fine. I feel like a normal human. I function like a normal human. It's not something that consumes my every single day, but it's there. It's always lurking in the background. It never goes away. And so I just wanted to talk about depression today with y'all, because I know that I am not the only one out there suffering, and I want to tell y'all a little bit about my journey and how I discovered that I was even depressed and what I've learned along the way. And hopefully this helps some other people out there for you. And I mean, I'm a mom, and that attributes to a lot of my stress and anxiety, but if you're not a mom and you're going through this, it's still the same thing. It's still relatable. And my depression is not severe like some people's. I have a very mild case of depression, but still, it still affects my life. It still affects my marriage. It affects me as a mom. It affects me as a friend. So I still wanted to come on here and let y'all know, at any degree, depression is depression, and you are not crazy for having this. It's normal. I have a lot of notes. I'm not going to show you my notes because I have actual people's names on here. I'm not going to be sharing any personal names or anything like that, but if you see me looking down, I am just reading from my notes. And I really hope that I am talking loud enough with the storm and being outside and everything, and I'm even filming this on my phone because I can't find my camera battery charger anywhere. But like I said, I was filming this video no matter what. I come from a very big family from the South, and we were very religious, and I actually went to a private Christian school that my family ran for most of my grade school experience. And I thought that everything in my little bubble, my little family, was perfect, that nothing could touch us, and if it did try to touch us, that God was going to shoo it away, and that we were impenetrable. And I thought that my family could withstand anything, and that everyone in my family was completely sane, and there was nothing wrong with any of them. They were completely perfect, because I was a child. I was a very naive child, and I was definitely one of those children that was like, everything is sunshine and butterflies, and it's just so lovely. Yeah, I was one of those. So I am literally holding my lights with my toes because I don't want them to blow away. So if you can see them in the windows behind me or anything, I'm so sorry. But like I said, we're going to get this done no matter what. If it starts raining too bad, I will kick my husband out of the main body of the house, and I'll just have to do it in there. So as I was saying, I grew up very, very naive, thinking that everything was peachy keen, jelly bean in my house. Like, even the day that my parents split up, I remember singing about it and like not fully understanding what it meant, and in some way being happy about it, because I was like, oh, I get 2 houses, I'm gonna have 2 places that have toys, this is awesome, I'm so happy. Was oblivious to anything happening with my parents. So as I got older, I started realizing things around me. I realized that my father was heavily into drugs, that several of my other family members were heavily into drugs, and that I started also realizing that we were not very well watched when we were in the care of my dad, and I have no idea to this day how things didn't happen to us more severe. But anyways, so around the time I started feeling really self-aware, and I started getting to where I was analyzing my feelings a lot, because I was always like, why am I feeling this way? Oh, like I had to always self-analyze everything. That was good as I got older, as I'll talk about a little bit. So I realized that, you know, my dad is really heavily into drugs, and that my family isn't perfect, and that, you know, the world is a horrible place and it's not perfect. And then my oldest sister passes away, and that's the first time that I like really remember experiencing death where I felt like it touched me. You know, like all the other death that had happened, I'm like, I don't know that great uncle, you know, who is he? But when my sister died, it was different. I knew her. It was different. So once that happened, you know, life progressed. I still didn't realize, you know, anything was going on. I was never a very sociable person, but, you know, I had friends here and there, but I didn't want to be with anyone when I was home. I didn't want anyone to see my home life. I didn't want anyone to get close enough to figure that out. So then my mom is mainly supporting us, so she gets a job opportunity in another state. Momo passed away, my mother's mother, and that really hit our family really hard. So after my mother's mother passed away, my mother's sister called her up and said, come live with me. I don't care either way, you know, we're gonna make it work. So we went and lived with her and her family in a 3-bedroom house, and it was 7 people, I think it was. It was really tight, and that was stressful. But while we were in North Carolina and all of that was happening really, really fast, I got very depressed. I had friends that were self-harming at the time, and I very stupidly tried that. And I remember thinking, this does nothing, this hurts. But I know that some people do get depressed to the point where they want to harm themselves. And I'm so glad that I was not there, and I wish I would have known how to talk to my friends back then and would have been able to help them more, but I just truly did not understand at that age what to do. And I hope now that they're adults, that they're healthy and that they're happy and fine. I no longer know them, but I really hope the best for them. But anyways, so that's when I went through my first bout of depression, was during all of that. And no one realized, because there was so much activity and there was so much going on other than that, that I went under the radar and no one knew, really. And then when I did the self-harm thing, someone told on me, because I had told some of my friends, you know, I tried that in your thumb, it hurts. and someone told on me and told the counselor that I was doing it. And so of course she calls my mom, and she comes up there and she's like, "Why are you hurting yourself? What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm fine. Everything's fine." And I thought I was. I was trying to be a strong kid and be fine. And I told her that, you know, it was dumb that so I told her that it was dumb, and that I didn't do it because I was depressed. I did it out of curiosity more. And, you know, she still worried about me, but everything was fine. Okay, we're going. Okay, so that was fun. So my youngest kid has never thrown up, other than, you know, being a baby and throwing up, in his whole life that he remembers. And he just did it. He did it right his first time. So let's just say that. So all that's handled. He is in bed with Daddy. He is fine. Hopefully, it is not a stomach bug or nothing like that. Please God. Okay, so after high school, I got into a group of friends that were not the best, and I had a boyfriend that was not the best, and lived with him for a while and got very, very depressed. And then after I broke up with him, I was a little bit more self-destructive, and I felt very, very bad about myself. I was at a very, very low time in my life. I'm not going to go into detail about all that at this moment. If you want to know about that story, that's for another time. So my cousin offered to let me come and live with her, so I took her up on that offer, and I started doing things that made me feel good about myself again. I got a good job, and I started moving up in that job, and, you know, life was better at that point. So things in my depression got better as well. I had known my husband for a while. We started dating though back then. You know, everything was great. He traveled a lot, and when he was traveling, especially after we moved in together, and I was alone for long periods of time, that was really hard, and that's when the depression would start creeping in. And when he was gone, at some points I would do nothing. I wouldn't clean because I didn't have to, because no one was looking at it. I didn't have to, you know, make myself pretty, nothing like that. So it was very, very easy to get depressed when he was gone, and that was really hard. And then we had children. I had my first son, and I was so over the moon when I had him. It was great for those first couple of months. Like, yes, I was very sleep deprived, but I was in bliss. So that, I did not think I had postpartum at all. I knew it was my regular depression when a couple of months after I had him, that feeling started creeping in again. So I was feeling like I had to do everything myself, that this was my baby. It was my job to be his mother, to give him everything, to, you know, meet every need. It was my job to run the house and do everything as a wife for my husband. I had to keep the house perfect. I had to have dinners. I had to have interesting dinners. And it was just really, really weighing on me. And I got to the lowest point ever in my life. And I was extremely stressed. I had more anxiety in my life than I'd ever had, because I had a new baby, and I was thinking about, you know, all the things that could happen, all the what ifs. So I got to the point where when I would be driving, I would have this thought that maybe, just maybe, if I got into a car accident that was bad enough, I could go into the hospital and have a break. And I wouldn't have to be a mom and a wife for a few days. I could relax, and people could wait on me and tend to me. And I wouldn't have to worry about it for a few days. But also, I would never purposely do that because, you know, why would I hurt myself? We would have to pay off the medical bills for one. Don't want to be away from my kid, really. Every time he goes to sleep, I want to wake him up and spend time with him. But, so, I'm feeling all these feelings, and I tell my husband I'm really overwhelmed. I am having these thoughts, and I told him my thought, and it scared him. And so I got help. I went to therapy for the first time ever in my life, and I always thought that if you went to therapy and you admitted you had a mental problem, that you weren't a strong enough person, because only weak-minded people can let their minds be altered. And that is not true at all. I don't feel like I'm filming. Yes, we are. So I went to a fantastic therapist, and she told me that I was not crazy, that I was pretty sane of mind, that I was realistic in my thinking, and that she didn't think there was anything wrong with me but just regular old depression. So not only did she tell me that I wasn't crazy, that I was perfectly normal, and that a lot of people suffer from this, and that other people have those crazy thoughts. And she told me a couple of different stories, but the one that stuck with me the most is that she said that one of her clients told her that she thought that if she just put that crying baby in the boiling pot of water when she was making dinner, it would stop crying for a little bit. But she knew also that if she put the baby in the boiling pot of water, that it would kill the baby, so you can't do that. But you just really want that baby to stop screaming. So to have those crazy thoughts in those moments of severe stress is okay. And you're not going to act on them. It's like saying, you know, if you had $1 million, all the things that you would do. Same thing. You're just dreaming, really. You're just dreaming about being able to be hospitalized where someone can wait on you instead of you waiting on everyone else. So, you know, all of that is perfectly normal. And after she told me that, and she gave me some tools to deal with my depression, because I told her I do not want to be medicated, because my mother, when we were going through all of the stuff with her mother passing away and moving to 2 different states in just a matter of a year, it was a lot on her, and she got on antidepressants, and she was a zombie. And I did not want to be a zombie. I did not want to do that to my children, especially at the age that he was. I needed to be there for that baby. And so I took those tools and put them into action. I had a talk with my wonderful, supportive husband and told him, hey, I need you. I need you to start picking up some slack. This is your kid too. And not that he wasn't doing things with Harrison, but I thought that I had to do everything to do with that baby. And it wasn't all on me. And so we started switching off nights and putting him to sleep, because I told him that the biggest thing was that, you know, I would fight Harrison all day long on the little things all day long. And then at the end of the night, I have to wrestle this baby to get him to go to sleep every single night, and he's waking up multiple times a night, and it was just wearing me thin, and I couldn't take it anymore. And so I told him all of that, and he helped me out with Harrison. He helped me feel like I was a good wife and that I was a good mom by giving me some validation that I needed. And you know what, if you needed to be patted on the back a little bit and told you're doing a good job, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you need that constantly to function in life, then that's a different issue. But every once in a while, you need to hear, hey, you're not failing. And that you are a good mom and that you are a good wife and that you are taking care of your family. And just because everything is not perfect every single day does not mean that you have failed. So everything is great. I'm enjoying my new baby. I'm enjoying my husband. We are growing as a family. Everything is good. And I am coming out of the depression. We're in a good point in our lives. And then on July 4th, my son has a near drowning experience. And that changed me. It's starting to storm again. After that, my anxiety ramped up to 117. And I made him sleep in our bed. He was completely crib trained. He slept through the night, and I made him start sleeping with us because I was so afraid that he was going to stop breathing in the middle of the night, and that somehow, something happened to him when he wasn't conscious, that he was going to stop breathing and I was going to lose him, and that I did not deserve him because I wasn't a good enough mother because I let it happen. And I didn't let it happen. It's a whole nother story too. But I let that consume me, and I let that fear consume me. And it was summertime. We still had a lot of summer to go, and we still went swimming. I made us go swimming just a few weeks after it happened, to prove to myself that everything was fine and that he wasn't going to die instantly as soon as he touched the water. And he loves the water now. Absolutely loves it. Doesn't remember that it happened whatsoever. So I guess that's good. But after that, he was sleeping in our bed. All of the anxiety was getting worse and worse. I worried about him constantly in everyday instances, like going to the grocery store. I worried that someone was going to snatch him out of the grocery cart. I worried just constantly. I worried that if he was out of my sight for just a few moments, that something was going to happen to him. Someone was going to snatch him away from me. And so that made my depression come on a whole lot stronger. And then 2 months after that happened, I found out I was pregnant. And so pregnancy hormones, anxiety from all of that happening, and regular depression, just to top it off. It was a really, really tough time, a really tough year for me and my husband. But he is fantastic, and every time I was feeling down, and he can tell instantly when I start getting in those states. And when my husband sees that I'm getting one of those down periods, he takes me out on a date, or he buys me flowers, or writes me a letter, something like that, to let me know that I'm still important and that I'm still doing a good job, and that he's here for me if I need him. And that is, I think, the key to me not spiraling into the really, really dark places that other people can go. It's because I have a wonderful support system. And I hope that if you're going through something like this, that you can find someone that is a great support for you too, or that you have a partner already that picks you up by your bootstraps and pulls you up and lets you know that everything's going to be okay and that he's here for you, or whoever they are. Then that is wonderful. And if you were that person for someone else, thank you so much. You don't even know how much you mean to that person. And they probably can't even express to you in those moments how much you mean to them. It is the next morning. That storm ended up getting really bad, and we actually had a whole bunch of flooding in our area. And one of my absolute favorite houses that I dreamed of living in when I become a millionaire one day burned to the ground, and it was so beautiful. But anyways, so I had to stop filming and take a break because there was no way I could set back up my lights, and we were losing power, and it was a bad storm, so it just was not happening. So I wanted to come on this morning and finish very quickly, because if I don't do it this morning, I just won't do it. I know myself. I won't do it. So we're doing it right now with me looking even more of a hot mess than I was last night. I don't even care. We're getting it done. So I wanted to share with y'all some of my triggers that make me start getting depressed, and things that make me really anxious and stress me out and can kind of start sending me down that road as well. So of course, like many other people, the anniversary of certain people's deaths and their birthdays really affect me. I have a lot of deaths and birthdays all right together from about October to March. So that's usually my down period every year since I had Harrison. I don't know if I had it before and I just didn't realize because my life was so busy and I didn't care to pay attention to it. But that's what seems to be a time of year that's really hard for me. Also, when my dad calls, it really stresses me out. I love hearing from him, I really do. I love hearing good things from him, but sometimes it's not good things. And I can tell that he has not been being good. So, yeah, that stresses me out. So I limit that. And I am a strong believer in if you don't let it in, then it's not going to taint your mind and infect it. Because I have watched things that I just can't get out of my head and that really mess with me. So I have decided do not watch scary movies. I don't watch like gruesome movies or like anything with like mutilation. I don't know. I don't watch that stuff. I don't expose myself to that. I don't let any of that negative, depressing, bad stuff in. And it keeps my mind positive. And I don't know. I really like it. Some people make fun of me because I will not watch horror movies, but I'm not missing out on anything by not watching that movie. I'm sorry. I'm not. And also, another thing that really affects a lot of people with depression is your house starts getting very cluttered because you start putting off things and it starts building up and building up, and then you not only have this little bitty project that you had before, but you have this mountain project and it's going to take forever to get it done, and that weighs on you more and more, and you're like, well, I don't have time to do all that, so we're just not going to do that one. And, while that one's adding up, other one's adding up. And so every once in a while, you have to go through your house and you have to get rid of the piles. And that's what I'm going to be doing in the coming videos, is doing a lot of decluttering and cleaning up my life again. Because springtime is the time to do that, right? But springtime really does make you feel better. And everything is blooming and there's new life and new birth. And, I don't know. Springtime's beautiful. So if there are areas in your house that are really affecting you and that really clutter your mind and stress you out, then I suggest that you clear out those areas. You set aside some time to tackle it just a little by little. And it will make you feel better in the end. Like, I've already started a little bit of mine, and it does. It makes you feel better knowing that that's finally done and it's finally cleared out. But when the depression starts coming back, it happens again. But, oh well. Just keep cleaning, I guess. The house is always dirty. No matter what. No matter what. And if you say your house is not dirty, you either don't have kids or pets, or you're lying. Okay, so enough about the bad things. I want to talk about things that make it better. Things that I enjoy, things that keep me from getting depressed, and things that keep me positive. So I want to reiterate, you need to talk to someone. Talk to friends, talk to a psychiatrist, talk to someone about it. It makes it better. Just talk to people in general. And also get out there and make some friends. Make some adult friends. And go and have a good time without feeling guilty for going out without your children. And you know what? They will survive with their Momo or their whoever is keeping them. They will be just fine, believe me. My kids have been there every single time that I've gotten back. They're fine. And we need that, but we feel so guilty for doing anything for ourselves whatsoever. We feel like we're not allowed to go and have fun if our kids are not involved in that fun. And that's not true. So, yeah, go and have some fun. Have alone time with your significant other. With 2 children, especially with them sleeping in our beds, me and my husband started getting very, very disconnected. And I did not like it. Not that we did not love each other anymore. We let each other know, you know, I feel disconnected from you. I want it to change. I love you very much, but I just don't have the time or energy. But I love you. So honey, I'm so sorry. I do love you. So another thing that always makes me feel really good is to have a family day out. You know, have a day out in the beautiful sun and the kids are running around giggling. And, you know, as long as something doesn't happen where, you know, a child poops himself or something like that, it's usually a really good day. And it makes you feel great. And you're like, oh yeah, we are killing it as parents. This is awesome. So that always helps as well. I love to go shopping. I love to hang out with my few friends that I do have. Or I really like to garden. We have a little garden out back and it is growing beautifully except for the storm blowing over all of our corn last night. I like my fish. I have a whole bunch of really pretty beautiful fish that I'm growing up from little babies and I just love them. I love my kids. They make me very, very happy. They make me smile every single day. So I want you to go out there and I want you to find something that makes you happy, something that brings you joy. And whatever it is, do it. Don't make anyone make you feel stupid for it, because sometimes I feel so silly for talking about my fish. But I love those fish. They're so pretty. But whatever it is, please go out there and do it. And it's for you. It's not for anyone else. And one thing that gives me a whole bunch of joy is making my YouTube videos. And that's something that I have not been doing. So I'm going to start doing that as well, because that is something that I have neglected, because I think it's something that takes away time from my family. And I need to have that time for me. So I'm going to do that for me. Instead of letting your depression take over your life, embrace it. Know that it's there. Know when it's going to come up. Know how to combat it. And know that there is support out there for when you need help and you can't control it anymore. So know that you are not alone, and there are people out there worldwide suffering from this. There are 300 million people suffering from depression. 16.2 million of those are in the US. And 50% of those people that are suffering from depression also suffer from some kind of anxiety disorder as well. So I just want to read a couple of facts that I did not know about depression before. So depression is usually in people from 18 to 25. 1 in 7 women will suffer from postpartum depression. Most of those women, half of them exact, have never been depressed before in their lives. I also did not know that suicide was the 10th leading cause of death in America, and that 44,000 Americans die every single year from suicide. And that's just in America. So if you're suffering from depression, if you need help, if you cannot handle it anymore, please reach out to someone. So I will be including some suicide hotlines down below and some other information in case you need any of those resources. If you need to talk to someone that you will never meet, you can reach out to me and talk to me, and we can share some stories. Know that you do not have to feel isolated and alone. Know that there is life with depression, there's life after depression, and that it does not have to consume you. So I will definitely be updating and letting you know how I am doing mentally and how everything is going in my life. And hopefully everything is going better in your life too, and we can all learn and grow together. If you have stuck around this long, thank you so much. This is a very raw, very emotional thing for me to share, and I just hope that I can help just one person out there. If I could help just one person, then it was worth me putting myself out there. So I want you to go and have a wonderful day. I want you to go and find something that gives you joy and do it without feeling any guilt whatsoever. And I will see y'all again in another day. Bye, guys.